So we are going to create the new Windows user. Here I'm going to enter a username. So usually this is for Oracle database testing purpose, right? So Windows user, I'm going to use my, I'm going to tell that username is Hindu and 19C. And then for the tutorial purpose, I'm going to give a password, a simple password. Please note down these for future purpose. Actually, this Windows user will not have any logon privilege as I mentioned earlier. So this is going to be used only for Oracle. Then click on next. Okay, so we have reached the step 4. See, I've told so many steps are there. So step 4 of 8. So this is the most important step where we note down and understand what exactly is happening during this installation. So there are few steps like Oracle base, software location. There are a lot of details here in this particular page. So what I'm going to explain each and everything, what it is about, and then you can know why do we have to do whatever we have done earlier. Okay, the first thing is Oracle base. This Oracle base is nothing but the location where the Oracle database is actually getting installed. So by default, I'm having this C/app, where I'm going to edit and I'm going to add Hindu 19C. Okay, so whatever the username which I've used, I'm going to create a folder under the app so that Oracle database is getting created there. And the next one is software location. So if you see this software location, it is C app DB home. Exactly, this is non-editable. This C app DB home is not at all editable. That's the main reason. What we have already done is we have downloaded the Oracle database, we created the app folder, and we have kept the DB home under the C. So this is non-editable. That's why this location we have already created. Okay, so as per software location, we are fine with it because we have already done that on the first part where we download and create an app folder and extract the files and rename it as DB home. The next field is database file location. So these file location is nothing but this is where all the data files are getting stored. For example, data files or password files, the internal files are going to get stored in this particular location. I'm not going to edit it. And the next one is database edition. Okay, here there are two editions, enterprise edition and standard edition too. I'm good with the enterprise edition. And then character set for this database is by default, I'm going to keep it as default 1. Okay, the next 3 important steps are global database name, password, and the pluggable database name. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a pen and paper. I'm going to note it down because these are the things which will be used to connect to database in the future. So I'm going to note it down somewhere so that I can connect to database using these credentials. So database name, I'm going to give it as ORCL by default. For this tutorial purpose, I'm actually leaving it as such. So the database name is ORCL, or we can also call it as SID. Okay, and the next one is password. I'm going to give it as some common password which I would remember. I'm going to save it. I've given Oracle 19C, just like in Hindu 19C, I've given it as Oracle 19C as password. And then the next one is create a container database. So we are creating a pluggable database because There can be 252 pluggable database, which if you're creating a container database, so we are going to use this pluggable database. That's why I've checked on this create as container database. The database which you are actually creating, we are creating as a container database, so that the maximum limit of pluggable database inside a container database is 252. We are going to just give ORCLPDB. So by default, it is there. I'm going to leave it as such, ORCLPDB. And what exactly is this is nothing but Oracle Pluggable Database. That's why the name is like that. I'm going to leave it just like that. And then at the bottom, I'm actually having a warning, right? Password, the admin password entered does not conform to the Oracle recommended standards. Because this is of a demo and no tutorial purpose, I'm not going to consider this. I'm just going to click on next. Okay, it is giving me a warning. Are you sure you want to continue? I'm going to give as yes. Do not forget, note down the details of Oracle database name, password, and the pluggable database name. This is required. So now that in the summary, it will do the prerequisite checks. Yes, it will do the it is typical installation is in red because of the warning which we got for the password. That is fine. And prerequisite checks it is done. And now it is displaying that everything is looking good to go forward. So now we have to click on the install. So let's wait. This is going to take a little bit of time. So let's wait. Let the installation begin. So the installation is finished now. It took some time, but it got finished. So there is a URL displayed here. This is Oracle Enterprise Manager, and you can copy paste this URL somewhere where you can go and check. Okay, so this is done. So we can click on close. And as part of this Oracle database installation, these are the steps so far. We have followed 8 steps here in the installer, and prior to this we have downloaded and renamed the folder. Yeah, so that's it about the installation of Oracle database. So apart from this, there are 2-3 things which you need to do. As I mentioned earlier, you should be doing the installation of a SQL developer tool, and prior to that, you have to connect to the created database which we have installed now, right? Through a user only you're going to create. Okay, so that particular schema should be unlocked. So in the previous versions of Oracle, it was very easy to go and unlock the user, the sample user, where you can get the sample data. But in 19C, it is kind of little complicated, but I'm going to explain you, walk through how do you have to unlock a sample, database schema, and then how to use it. That's what we're going to see in the next session.